All right, my friends, here we are. Let me make a little jadoob. This week's graduate show is a little bit different. It's gonna be a touch messy, but I think in an amazing way. So let me describe what I think happened. First, let me take you to the recent page over here. So, look at all these beautiful things, and we go recent, and then we hit past week, and then each dot, each dot represents a graduation that happened technically in this last week. Now, if you're just joining us, what has happened? We've moved to Dojo 2.0 with this magnificent new website. I think we've kind of this last week, we've kind of soft launched it. So you're probably, many of you probably already aware of it, but we haven't like tweeted about it. We haven't done anything like that because we wanted to kind of iron some stuff out. And there in general hasn't been any major issues, but one thing that's happened that affects this show is that we've had all these graduations, and what people were doing was bringing in their data from old graduations. So we knew there was going to be some extra, but that's not the full story of what's going on today. All right, here's what I think has happened. A lot of people weren't engaging with the old scoreboard because it wasn't that fun to use. Now, with this amazing new scoreboard, what's happened is people are totally pumped on the scoreboard and are really going for it. And so there were a lot of people who should have graduated, but because they weren't actively using the old scoreboard, that they didn't graduate. So I count out, there's more than 27 dots in here, and I'll show what's going on there in a second, but I count out 27 people that haven't properly graduated. So this week's gonna be a little hectic with the grad show, and my intention is to do about 3 shows, and roughly ordered by rating. So today, as you can see, we're doing the under 1,000. Right? We're doing the under 1,000 grads. Now, if I screw something up in this, I'm sorry. It's possible Boomer GM could have blown it a little bit. There's a little bit of confusion about who actually graduated. There will also be a little confusion about the games, and I'll explain that when we get there. Okay, so we're gonna go in order. And so for example, Stefan here will be in the next show, which I'm gonna try to do tomorrow. Right, because we're going to do all of the under 1,000s today. And the first person we're going to check out is Anish, and Anish has graduated from 0-300 to 3-400. Now, perfect example actually here. Anish might have, well, we're going to go a little bit of a deep dive, but Anish might have simply realized, hey, the cohorts now are different. Before we had 0 to 400 and then 4 to 600, and now we split that up, right? So it makes sense. Well, Anish feels he should be in the category. Anyways, let's check Anish out. And this is such a cool site, man. This is such a cool site. As you can see, Anish has done a bunch of this stuff. And let's go straight to activity, and I'm gonna show you something super cool. If you go to 0, so these are the cohorts that Anish has been active in when you scroll this. Now, at first I was like, Jack, I don't even understand this, because if somebody hasn't graduated, it'll just have one cohort. But the cool thing that this does is it allows you to see, oh, what did they do to graduate the first time around? Okay, so then that's what interests us in the graduate show. So we click on this thing, and Anish did in fact 38 dojo points, right? And here we got it. We can look at it a little bit. Now it does, we go games and analysis, just the blunder games. What are the blunder games? Blunder games are a new thing. That is, we are asking people to play loads, in the under 1,000s, loads of games that are pretty short, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and just in those games focus on not hanging stuff, right? So it's not going to surprise us then that we're not going to find a game from Anish, right? We're going to take a look in just a second. Here's the breakdown, right? There's the time breakdown. Oh, this is such a cool site, man. Such a cool sight. In any case, when you look at this, we can basically say that Anish did this journey here with the old-fashioned way, with tactics and the blunder games, basically, right? And then here, the algorithm was what got him in the end game. So let me go check briefly at games. I don't believe there's a games here. Now, let me stress something. I don't think Anish, at least from his own feedback, has done any games. However, at the moment, this is really important, for today's show, I won't be able to see your games unless they've been linked to your username. And basically that's gonna happen if you submit them in this new format. If it's in the older format, I won't get to it today. If you send me something on Discord, say, boss, you missed me, boss, I really did the work. Please show my game on a future show, I will do it, okay? Right. We have a question from Claude. What's the schedule for the graduate show? Today we're doing under 1,000, and then my hope is tomorrow to do about 10 people from the over 1,000. It'll definitely take at least 3 shows altogether. Right. Okay. So, beautiful. Let's just go briefly here. Anish is crushing it, dude. And then already Anish has done a bunch with openings and tactics, just beginning with this new cohort. And here you can see what Anish has done. Great. Okay, so let's go back. And what we're gonna do now is cruise through this, and we're gonna then go to Young, who's at the back. So let me go, wait. First, past week. And then E.L. Young is back over here. And I know exactly where E.L. Young is. E. Young, P.L. E. Young, LPC. Okay. So, then we check it out. E. Young has done a lot of business here. And let's go activity. There's the score breakdown. And if we hit games analysis, let's just see what we get. Now, we do get an annotated game, so we're gonna check if E. Young has some games in the database. Might not be, might be in the old database. You know, I will go and do a redo on that if needed. Now, you can see this with the blunder games, fantastic. And look at that, E. Young has graduated several times here. And, you know, we can click on any of these. One of the things that's so cool about this too is we see that in order to graduate, E. Young needed 25 dojo points, right? If we go back 400, dude did 53 dojo points before they graduated. Beautiful. All right, let's click games. I have a feeling, oh, we got some, nice. Now, let me just see if I click date. Oh, this is so nice, dude. So I'm gonna pick on the most recent ones. Most recent one. So this is uploaded by E. Young. Oh, this is great, man. All right, so here we go. Pop. And he is black. Great. Okay. So, fantastic. Both sides are playing principled chess, right? A little weird. Let's read what E. Young writes. White develops the bishop, and it seems misplaced to me. Not sure what the idea is here. Good. Now, I think the thing I would like to see is just the thought that, hey, the reason that move is funky is because we're blocking this pawn, right? All right, knight c6. Black is playing great, dude. Great. Now, one of the things I stress on all these shows is that at this stage of your development, it is best not to be learning a bunch of opening theory and rather focus on the opening principles. So, because what's going to happen? You're going to get people playing the way white does against you, and then you just want to play principled. And I love, so far, the 6 moves that E. Young has played here. Pop. Now, you could have not taken it, but he takes it. I think it's fine. So let's actually look at something. An amazing thing that I discovered, I did some shows recently on what I call the hunt for the model games. So every cohort is going to have 5 games that are well annotated that they can check out in order to review for their own annotations, to see what a good annotation looks like at their level, at their cohort. And an amazing thing that I discovered there is a lot of people have uploaded their Lichess games with the timestamps, okay? And this game, for example, is a 30 plus 20 game. And the thing I discovered, and you can see it here, is that people are just furiously blitzing. They're not thinking at all, man. And obviously, you will play much better if you think. That's number one. But number two, in order to really have a game to go over, we want you to be thinking while you were doing it, because we want at least as much thought after, as you had going into it. And it's kind of just irksome to be going over moves that you didn't think about in the first place. Okay, so queen takes, e5. So here's an interesting thing where I think this is a mild mistake, where, but at this level, I shouldn't even say anything. But let's just say that the reason e6 is stronger, okay, is that we just traded off our light square bishop, and so we want to be strong on the light squares, and that pawn chain is super strong once we get that move in. After e5 in the game, we're a little tender now on the light squares with this one in particular. Now I understand, dude wants to hurt white with something like e4, but we got to be careful because our king is still in El Centro. Okay, but this one isn't it, queen e2. Probably rook e1 makes more sense. Bishop d6, good move. Rook e1. I prefer just castles here, queen e7. Bishop b5, castles, beautiful. d3, feels like a mistake to me. Breaks the connection between white's queen and bishop, though it does open the diagonal for the dark square bishop. I don't know what else he's supposed to do. What else is the guy supposed to do? Okay. a6, you could have played knight d4 as well. And that was, well, it's a hard life. Knight a4. Okay. Let's read your notes on this one. I think white has ideas of going to b6. Now, one of the things I'll just say, in terms of opening principles, what's the right move? Bishop g5 is the right move. It's the right move. We can talk about all kinds of other stuff, but that's the right move, right? Good move. I want to really stress that black has done, we're talking about somebody who is is at the under 1,000 level, and the only minor mistake they've made that I've seen is e5. Everything else has been GM level black. Rook b8, simple chess. We'll just bring our dudes out. Fantastic. Okay. All right. Here we go. I don't like it. Your pawns are beautiful where they are, and so a move like h6 or rook fe8 would be a good building move. That's a poor move. Okay, now you guys, I want you to see something. It's very interesting. So, E. Young writes this: black hangs the bishop. Let's make an arrow. Which I totally see now. I didn't see it in the game right away, though. Problem I still have. Seeing my chances a move later, then they happen. Will happen at least one more time in this game. Now, my friends, I want you to see 32-21, 32-27. So it took black much longer to write that beautiful, well-written paragraph than it did to make the move. Well, black just instantly moved. Just instantly. And so a really interesting thing, I don't know if it's interesting. To me, it's mildly interesting just because it's psychologically, well, it's stunning, actually, to me, how fast people move here. But I'll put it this way. I said this on the model game show too. I've done a lot of teaching with kids, and one of my proudest accomplishments was winning the New Mexico elementary school championship a couple times in a row. And what I learned there was that if you can get kids to slow down, their rating increases exponentially, their performance. Okay? And what I see here is, I see the same thing here. It doesn't matter whether you're a kid or not, right? It's just that usually it's kids who have this problem of moving super fast. And especially when there's like an eye-to-eye contact with kids, and there's some kid who's kind of like sitting across the board from you and saying something like, move, move, they'll get annoyed too. The kid across from you will get annoyed if you don't move. So you have to really train them to not move fast. And then the results are just stunning if you can prevent them from moving fast. So I'm bringing it all up because the most important feedback I can give E. Young and a lot of these other players in the under 1,000 level is that it has nothing to do with your chess skill. The next step in your chess development has nothing to do with chess skill, nothing to do with like dojo training program requirements. It is all about slowing down. That is it. Afterwards, you'll after you can slow down, you'll reach some other plateau and we can talk about what you need to do. But right now, bows, you need to slow down. King's Bishop, thank you for rating. Thank you, rating. Thank you for wishing me happy birthday. I'm an old dude, man. I'm an old dude. So, I want to stress that. And I also want to say that it's been just this little detail, and really let's call it a tech detail, that we are able to see the timestamps so clearly on this viewer. We weren't able to do it before. I was pulling the games from ChessBase before. Now I can see it. What a big difference it makes. And it allows me to communicate this point again and again and again. Right? And the whole idea of the blunder games, by the way, if you haven't heard about the blunder games, the idea is under 1,000 people need to be playing a bunch of games like 10-0, 15-0. At the beginning of the program, we look down on them. But to do those games precisely with moments like this of being like bows, they are going to hang something, and you just need to find it. So let me stress, Black's moves up to this point were like GM level, dog. GM level, and then here, moving so fast. And it's kind of a machismo, right, of moving super fast. Like, oh, I know what to do. Something, I don't know, something like that, right? Okay, speech over, I promise. Rook b7, rook b4. Good move, and now, are they toast? c3. So what I want you to say here, and notice, look, White now, let's look at this. White is under the gun and then instantly plays c3. We're talking instantly, because remember, they get 20 seconds extra. Instantly plays c3. Is there a way out for White? Yes, there is. Bows, you take the knight. You take the knight and live to fight another day. Oh no, oh no. All right, c3, rook a4. Okay. Okay, d1. Nah, tasty, tasty critters. Okay, and c5 looks weird, right? Very weird. Better would have been, I guess, de. De makes a lot of sense. Okay, I think White should have taken on f6. And then you got to worry about some things, right? All right, now we're clearly winning again. Please play knight takes c3. Let's see if the dude found it. Pop! Nice. Welcome to the dojo. Nice, nice, nice. Good notes. Thank you very much. That ain't it, bows. Oh! Oh! Oh, no! Luckily, I was up so much in material that I was still in decent shape, but maiden one was easier. Now let's look. Can we just observe, my friends? Let's say 6 plus 20, 26 seconds were playing g6. 26 seconds. Black has more time now than they began the game with. Now, I want to just stress something. When I first saw numbers like this, timestamps like this, I was like, bows, chat, help me out, is this real? But I got multiple confirmations from chat the first time I saw this interface that it was true. It was actually true that black was moving this fast, right? Okay, so here we go. G6, oh no, that's a queen. Now here's something hilarious. Let's imagine that you blundered your queen. Let's just imagine, it's a sad day. No one's happy about it. Bows, you throw in rook a1 mate. It's not quite mate. You know, in that in the puzzle rush, they'll go whack, and then you got to take it, and then they'll go whack, and then you got to take it, and then they'll go whack, and you got to take it. But you know, that's all a formality, my friend. That's all a formality. Now, was there a chance that you could find that? Yes. Yes, if you thought for 5 minutes on a dog. No. You played 97 instantly. All right, bishop f8. King takes. All right, so now the game, I mean, who knows what's going to happen now? H4. Oh, man. So obviously, white needs to play a move like G3. H4, super fast. Can I just say it? I know I've said it 1,000 times, okay? This has nothing to do with chess skill, and it's something that can be fixed quickly, right? I know I've said it a bunch, but there it is. This is something that does not take long to fix, and it's instant elo game. Check to the miserable king. There we go, my friends. There we go. Okay, that was very insightful. And good notes. Good notes. Yeah, let's feature this game. I've done all of the cohort games, but I'm going to definitely feature this game. I thought it was great notes, and it shows. By the way, when we feature a game or put it in the cohort, the idea is not to say like this was the best game played ever. No, it's good, thoughtful notes, and then there's something interesting about the game. So it's like, oh my God, if you were at this cohort level and you see these times, you're gonna be like, oh, I don't have to be a genius. I just have to take a little time, bows. That's all I gotta do, man. Okay, so here we go. Let's go back. This is E Young LPC. And let me just say, dude is working his way up. And there's something obvious to say. The guy played great the first couple moves, clearly understands the principles of the game. And then now, if dude just slows down, I mean, he's over 1,000 easy. Easy. All right, good. So next up, we have Aubin. Sounds like a French name to me. I don't know, Baus. All right, here we go. Now, Aubin is toward the back here. So here, there's Phigius, and there's Aubin. And you can see Aubin's done most of the end games, some tactics, a little bit, basically no games in analysis. And so let's go take a look. Activity, and then there's the tactics. Let's hit the tactics. Boom! Mates in 1, everyone's first chess workbook, parts 1 and 2. Brilliant. Time breakdown. Boom. Games announced. I assume what that means is blunder games. Great, dude. Great. People doing the blunder games, man. We just set this up last week. Already we got people doing blunder games. Now maybe that might just be like these people acknowledging I have done a lot of blunder games in the past. Fine. Let's click on another one with let's say middle games and strategy. Games to memorize, master games to study. Fantastic. And then we'll click endgame algorithm. Great, dude. Great. So this is Aubin going 500, 600. No games yet. Fine. And really, really genius level, dude. Fantastic. I really like it. And what we have, right, is they have graduated. Boom. Congratulations. Okay, good. Let's move on to Mike E. if my memory isn't completely wrong, what I remember is when I did a show recently about the hunt for the best dojo games to put in the cohort games. Mike E was in there, and one of the cool things that Jack has done is when you graduate, if you want, you can say something, right? And so that then gets put up right here, and several interesting things when I reviewed this came up. So let's read this out. Most helpful for me has been the curated list of classic games and books. There's so much out there, it's hard to know where to begin. But this did it. I had already done the Giannato's workbook before I started, but not the Polgar tactics. Those were quite enjoyable. As for what needs improvement, I'm not sure how to express it. I'm not dead focused on improvement, whatever that means, as an ends and a means. I just want to enjoy the game and understand it a bit more each day and feel like I play to the best of my ability at the end of a game. Coincident with that, I am finding it difficult to get games with the cohort owing largely to my sporadic schedule. So I think the scheduler is where I had trouble. I can't tell you when in the next month I will have 3 hours to sit down and play a long game. It'll happen here and there, but I have to be opportunistic about it. I posted to the cohort a couple times when I was available, but nothing came of it. So I ended up just playing randos on Lead Chess for those games. I don't know what you guys can do about that with the scheduler or game finder. I guess I'm just providing a point of data. I think the program is excellent overall. Cool. Yeah, and I'll take a look at the calendar in a second. But on this point, there are two things that make me hopeful that people in Mike E's situation will find it easier. One, we have the scheduler, it's working, and people are using it more. So we need more people to use it and become comfortable with it. Number two, the more we grow the site, the easier it's going to be for Mike E to find somebody either to spar with, play a long game with, right? Discuss a book with. And one of the interesting things about that is when we started the site, I had a naive thought like, oh, if we could just get like 20 people in a cohort, we would have the critical mass for people to get together. No, Jesse, you need hundreds of people to have the critical mass where somebody like Mikey can come in and find somebody easily. And so actually, after we do a deep dive on Mikey, I'm gonna go look at the scoreboard, let's say for his cohort, and then also at the calendar, just to see what it looks like. So, here's Mike E. Has done a lot of tactics, fantastic. And games and analysis, hasn't done anything. I'm gonna guess there's no games. Oh, there it is, Trader Vic, I think that's who it is. And right, I did a game with Trader Vic on the show. Let's first start at activity, and then let's see what's going on tactics. Ooh, look at that, buddy. Look at those beautiful colors, my friends. Mates in one, survival, everyone's first chess workbook, all 3 sections, and puzzle rush. Beautiful. And there's a time breakdown I have a feeling a lot of the people's time breakdown is like not yet there because people haven't input their time yet. So that will be a little bit more detailed as we go on in the weeks to come. Fantastic. And then if we look 500, 600, we can see what Mike did to get to the next level. Let's hit middle games, the algorithm, okay, in the end game. And then if I hit middle games of strategy, games to memorize, great, okay. And tactics, similar to what Mike had done for the next level up. Great, dude. Okay, let's look at a game here. I think I looked at Yopan versus Trader Vic in the show. So let's go take a look at this one here. Okay, I'm pretty sure Mike E is Trader Vic. I guess this is a Petrov. I haven't looked at it much, but have run into this a few times. Okay. Pop, 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 pop. Now, it's a little bit misleading when you start doing like third most popular move, stuff like that, right? There's nothing inherently wrong with queen e2. And here the usual move is d3. Fine, but you look, you did a fine move. Let's think about d takes c3. I personally don't think of it as a mistake. I don't recall exactly why dc instead of bc. I think I might have been thinking about bishop g4, but it's easily countered by f6. Looking at master games, both are played and both lead to draws. Okay. So again, okay, so let me just describe what's happening here. There is a potential for anybody, GMs too, when they look at one of their games, to go look at either the computer or the database to tell them how they should have approached the position. But when we look at it just from a principled perspective, there's nothing wrong with d takes c3. No, it's fine. You're getting your bishop out. I would rather play dc myself. Okay? You're doing great. This is a minor inaccuracy, queen takes e2, because this allows you to develop with tempo. Thank you very much. Fine. Little frisky. Okay. You're doing good. Great, dude. You're developing. I guess the opening is over now. I might have prematurely castled. No, I love it though. I was thinking about lines where opponent castled kingside with me queenside, especially since opponent waited until after developing the king's bishop to castle. I like the placement of white's pieces better, but this position feels more or less equal to me. Okay, okay. All right, castles, and now you play bishop g5. So one thing I will say is that in my experience as a coach and as a player, this stage of the game is often the most difficult because it feels like everything's developed and now we need to do something and it's not so easy to know what to do. All right, now bishop g5, the reason that is not correct is you're moving a developed piece twice, and it seems very clear that this piece is better than this piece, right? So then we have the question, well, what should we do? And the building moves, I think, would be here or here. The frisky move would be h4, and the rationalization for that move would be simply that we're hoping to gain some space, but also maybe use our rook on h1 where it stands, right? So those would be the moves that come to mind to me for how you could build the position a little bit here. Okay. So bishop g5, f6, poor move. Of course they should trade. They could play rook he8 if they want, you know? Probably should have just gone back straight to e3. I don't see anything wrong with bishop f4. That looks fine. b3. Let's read what you write. Guarding against ideas of bishop a2. I don't presently see the weakness on a3 or c3 as a problem. Good. But then c3 pawn will eventually fall as a result. Okay, you might lose the c3 pawn later, but it has nothing to do with this move b3. Okay? My middle game ideas were loosely to get my pawns on light squares, then try to trade my knight for his dark bishop. Okay, so we're imagining maybe something frisky like this. Okay, now that's kind of a highfalutin plan. And let's just say a couple things. This move wasn't good. This move wasn't good. Now let's stress actually how bad f6 was. This was a great exchange, and now the bishop's really dead after f6. Then this move is just, now what happens in my experience, okay, is people make moves that just feel like they're threatening something, right? In fact, bishop a2 doesn't even threaten anything, because if dude took, we play b3 and king b2 and the bishop would be toast, right? So that's not actually a thing. But the most importantly thing I want you to see is in these positions, your opponents will kind of do a little bit what you were doing, where you don't know what to do, so you kind of randomly attack something, or something that feels like an attack. An example of what you did there was bishop g5. You're not really attacking anything, right? But that's the impulse. And once you recognize that that's your impulse in a position like this, right? We've developed most of our guys. Then it's time to start, when we analyze, be like, well, how can I make improvements to the position, right? Same thing for black. Black is just threatening random stuff. Okay, g5, very controversial. Nice arrows. Nice arrows, okay. h5, I don't know why they're doing it. So, rook he1. Now, that's a lot of arrows, but I kind of like it, man. I kind of like it. Okay. It upsets me a little bit that we're abandoning the H file, right? So other candidate moves include knight d4, bishop f5, and if we're going to put a rook on the e file, we might even do that, right? Okay. Notice they're just attacking things. Knight d4, good move. Knight e5. And now you go for it with knight f5. I kind of like bishop f5 better. Because now if bishop f8, how do we deal with our pawn on g4? Okay. Probably also okay. See a pawn, take a pawn. So now you're going to get your bishop trapped in the same way that dude you could have trapped him with bishop a2. All right, so here we go. b6. Now all of a sudden that's a little bit of court. A little bit of a cold shower. Now I'm going to say something obvious. You go over games like this, you're going to see like, oh, this is a problem getting my bishop trapped. And if you want to, feel good about yourself, you say, oh, Bobby Fischer did the same thing, man. Game 1, World Championship, 1972, the chump. That dirty chump, Okay. So now we got a question of like, well, how are we supposed to deal with this? And we might be able to make life a little hard here in terms of actually winning that bishop. Maybe bishop e4. Yeah. All right, so we got a check. And now this is definitely a mistake. Or it looks like a mistake. And I'm not sure about, I'm very unsure about c6, because c6 allows the bishop out, right? Now, there is some interesting stuff happening here. So for example, if king c8, we can maybe make a draw with bishop a6. That's interesting. And here, we again can make a draw with bishop c4. Actually, we'll probably just be winning something after bishop c4. I think it's a little complicated after d5, honestly, but that's hot, as they say, a little hot. But yeah, so black maybe actually look at this one, you guys. Pop! Oh no, it's a mate! Oh no! Checkmate! Always check. It might be mate. So bishop b5. This isn't it though. This isn't it with c6, because now, dude, you could have just played bishop f1 and then gone snippity-poppity-pop after that. Well, maybe it still works. Maybe it still works, Bows. Boom, you did it. You're out of there, dog. You're out of there. So we got to say b6 was a mistake. I mean, c6 was a mistake. Rook c3, and now you're on top. I thought for sure I was not going to get out of that with both bishops. I'm not sure where opponent went wrong exactly, but I'm glad I got out of it. Okay, so a couple things. First of all, you're using your time much better than your opponent. That's number one. Your opponent's not thinking at all. Number two is, this is the opportunity to think about it, right? To analyze it and figure out exactly where dude went wrong. So for example, this would be a moment to ponder, could I play bishop e5, fe, Rook e5, right? Looks very powerful. Okay. I had it in my head that I had to erase opponent's dark square bishop. But in retrospect, I don't recall why. Okay. So, good. And what I mean by good is you are seeing that this is unnecessary, and then in particular, that bishop's a chump. And there was a note earlier where we saw you were already obsessed with erasing that bishop, right? Good, you're recognizing your foibles here. That's such a nice bishop. We're gonna just take it. It's a pin piece, Tao. You don't take a pin piece. Oh no. Oh no. What? Fancy? Look at that fanciness. Look at that fanciness. Holy moly. Now we got ourselves a dogfight. Dang. Look at this, you guys. Look at this. That's some high-level tactics from this dude. Pop, pop. Welcome to the dojo. Oh my gosh, lollop here. Pop, pop. Now we know, now it's very hard to assess this position. My guess is, I don't know, I was about to make a guess and I realized it's just foolishness to make a guess. My guess is black should be better because they've got the jump. This is their move in this position and our rook is a little passive on g2. Okay, king e6, I'm into it. a4, I'm mostly down. Rook b4, maybe. The problem with rook b4 is when I play a5 is, are you going to be ready to defend against that roller? So e4 makes a little bit more sense to me. Good. I don't like it. Now a5 makes a lot of sense. That doesn't make any sense. Now, one thing I want to stress is that a big issue in the endgame is when we're in the opening, we generally know what time is to be used for, right? It's there to develop our dudes, get the guys off the bench, get them in the game, right? And here it's a little bit unclear where our pieces should go. I think, though, a basic approach for this position would be to say, hey, I want to activate this guy, and this honey bunny wants to roll. Where do rooks belong? They belong behind passed pawns. So either a5 or rook g1 to enable this move, right? Okay. Good move by black. That's spicy now. It is officially spicy now. That king b7 is a little, black has gone passive. Good move. Oh, now we got some calculations, my friend. This also seemed to be a mistake to me. I was all too happy to trade rooks and split up opponents' connected pawns. My king was within the box of the e-pawn. I didn't see how he could stop me getting over there in time for the trade. Brilliant. Pop, pop, pop. Thank you very much. Welcome to the dojo. That's goodbye, my friend. That's goodbye. Very nice. Chess is an easy game. Okay. Simple chess. Don't play queen g3. Don't play queen g3. Very good. Mike E, so I want to stress, Mike E, I put one of his other games in there. Great annotations. Fantastic annotations. And that was a good game. Now look, I want to stress something. We just saw a pretty high level game. Now notice these are lead chess ratings. So if you see a read chess rating rated like 2100, you know it's like actually 200. Any case, we go back here, 600 to 700. For somebody in the 600 to 700 cohort, what I'm trying to say is that's a pretty good level of game. That's a good level of game. Okay, so here we go, my friends. Let me show the scoreboard here. We'll look at 600, 700 real quick. And pop. And we're going to order it by dojo score. We got Richard, Mad Cow. There's Mike E right there. And Mike E had already graduated once to get to this point. Beautiful. So you can see everybody's dojo score there. And as you might remember, Mike E said something to the effect that his grief was finding people. So let's go take a look at the calendar. And let's go the day. So that's today. Just see what we got. Remember Albin? There it is, right there. Let's click on it. So dude is available for a classical game, and these are the cohorts he's willing to play it against. Beautiful. Let's click on another one of these. So then we got the graduate show, that's happening, of course. And the dream for me is that this would be a little bit more full. Still, we still have 4 people who are set up to do some stuff today. And this one, for example, is a group being bad at chess, 1800, 1900. And already there's a second participant in there, right? Beautiful. Analyze own game, book study. Fantastic. Okay, so let's keep it moving. And we're gonna go look at JR now. And we're gonna go recent, past week. And then JR is right around Albin, somewhere over here. There's Albin, there's JR. Let's click on JR. So first, let's see JR. JR, my friends, has graduated a couple times already, and is clearly doing some good work, right? So let's look at 600, 700. That's how they've graduated before. By the way, let me stress something. Why do we have so many graduates today, this week? Because people using the last Google Doc, the Google Doc we had for the first Dojo 1.0 scoreboard, they weren't doing it, man. They weren't actively engaging in that. I think primarily because it wasn't that user-friendly. It wasn't a beautiful and fun thing to use. Now people are seeing this and they're like, all right, I'm all in, boss. And by the way, I actually made the requirement ages ago, so I'm gonna mark myself as graduated. That's why we're here. Okay, so here we go. This is 600, 700. How did dude do it? He did tactics and endgame. Let's take a look. Let's do a click. Pop. Algorithm and win conversion. By the way, win conversion, this is a new thing, and dude is doing it. And so let me just briefly describe the win conversion. For the cohorts above 1,000, one of the ideas we had from the very beginning was to have endgame positional sparring, just so you get a sense of, like, you know, what endgames look like, feel like, and I can talk at length about it. For Dojo 2.0, what we wanted to do was for the players under 1,000, we wanted to give them the task of like, here you got an extra piece. Here you got maybe even a lower cohort, extra queen, extra rook. Win this position and do it 3 times in a row against someone in your cohort. Can you do it? That's the task, right? So JR has done that, and also the algorithm. So that's the end game, and now we'll look at tactics. Beautiful spread here, look at that. So everyone's first chess workbook, puzzle survival, puzzle rush. Fantastic, fantastic. All right, let's hit games. Pop, no games. Not a surprise. JR might have games from the last database. If so, I apologize. Okay, next up, we have Wood JRX, who is definitely, I've looked at some of Wood's games before, and Wood has definitely graduated at least one time before. So let's go back. And ye old Wood JRX. We go recent, week, and then Wood JRX is somewhere around here. Oh, Mitch Fabian really stunk up the dojo here. English Spaniel. Wait a second. Bows, where's Wood? Oh, see, Mitch really blew it. We're going to talk about Mitch here. Mitch really stunk it up, man. All right, wait, there's too leaky. Yeah, Wood JRX is almost coming up. Okay, there's Wood JRX. Let's give it a click. Graduation from previous scoreboard. Wait a second. Let me just get this correct. Mundo. Graduation from previous scoreboard. And then this is the most recent one. Let's read. Spent a long time fighting with my rating, tilted and very frustrated with chess. Spent countless hours drilling everyone's first chess workbook, working through steps method as well. So let's take a look. Are there games? Yes, we're going to look at one of those. This is the score breakdown, and we're going to look at 700, 800, because that's where Wood JRX graduated from. Wood JRX is working. Now, let me just say, there is a direct correlation between how many points you get in terms of the dojo score and what your rating improvement is, right? Some it's more, some it's less, but you just look across the board, oh my gosh, direct correlation, right? And here you can see it with Wood-Jarrick's 88 dojo score. That's pretty severe. That's somebody who's done some stuff. Seth asks, I know I'm late doing this, but is there a way to transfer our checks over from the first training program to our 2.0? Yeah, in Pepper Chess, they're explaining to it. I'm going to let chat describe that. Yeah. But it's not hard. I wanted to actually say, when I transferred my stuff over, it was for a boomer who, you know, doesn't do tech that well. You know, I expected disaster. I expected at least a couple F-bombs. You know, I thought I might eat some pho. Nothing like that. Smooth. Okay? All right, Wood-Jarrick's is killing it. And let's look. Dude, can we just stress? Wood-Jarrick's started at the bottom, bows. Started at the bottom. Now, will it be reflected in the ratings? Let's just go look. Yeah, so 337 total points gained. Start at 735, and that's ChessComp, so that's about 500. Seems roughly correct. Okay, let's go look at a game from Wood-Jarrick's. I'll organize it. I'll just do this one. It's the most recent. If I've already looked at it, I apologize. I don't think I have. Wood-Jarrick's is white. Fine. Weird. Now, can I just say it again? The reason not to study openings too deep at this level is you're just going to get some weird stuff, right? Okay. DE5, 94. And Wood says, I hadn't considered this. I left this pawn hanging, and my opponent took advantage. I think you're the one taking advantage, Bobs. I think you're the one taking advantage. You're doing fine, and that knight's a chump there on E4. Okay, now you've got several good moves here. The most basic would be bishop D3, just to gain some time. You could also consider queen D5, which seems like it's going to force something like knight C5, and then you can play bishop C4. You're writing bishop C4. Also looks good because the knight is a chump, and he's about to get wasted with some tactic like queen D5, right? And bishop E3, you're obsessing over the F2 point, right? Because if nothing else, you can move the bishop on F1 and castle short next. D6. At this point, I realized that I really needed to learn an opening. No, mouse. No, mouse. No, 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 no. Let me explain. Even if you did some kind of hardcore chessable course on the Scotch, this move, boss, that's not the one they're going to learn deep. You know, no, there's not going to be some deep variation with knight f6. That's just a chump move. That's just a chump move, knight f6. Why? Because you waste the dude. You waste the dude, kick the knight away from the center, and now after knight e4, they're going to lose another tempo. So any of the moves that we mentioned, bishop b3, bishop c4, queen d5, they're all leading to an advantage for white. And even here, I still like your position better than black's, right? So you're doing fine. And I think you're right. D5 is probably better. Fantastic. Okay. So what you just did there with recognizing that D5 was better is you are the one who just learned how to play principled chess. And why is it better? Because you correctly understood that that's a nasty developing move. And now there's some little questions that are being asked of black. And we want to waste this guy before he develops his stuff, right? Before they develop their stuff, we want to put the hurt on. Great. Great. Okay. So bishop d7, castles. All right, let's read. Queen d5, one candidate move I had, forking the weak f7 pawn and attacking the e4 knight. However, I was concerned with the immediate counterattack with bishop e6. However, I missed a diagonal windmill. Okay, so let's stress. Queen d5 is a very reasonable move to consider because the knight on e4 is a chump. It's not doing anything, right? Yeah, and then you're definitely much better. So castles, and now this is problematic because it looks like we're hanging a pawn, okay? In a surprising bit of focus, I was able to calculate the next 8 to 9 ply and felt that it was better for me as material would be mostly even and I would have a rook claiming the now open d file. Knight g5 and knight h4 were both under attack. I'm not sure I understand that. Another option was knight d4 blocking the queen and bishop and knight d2 blocking the queen or knight e1 blocking the rook. Thus, it's better to desperado the knight. I don't understand any of it. I don't understand any of it, Bows. That's me, though. So what's happened? Black is going to win this pawn and maybe survive. I still think you're going to be mildly better, or like I would rather be white because your development lead is still so strong. But we'll see. Knight e5, good move. Now you have to do something. I don't have any great ideas for you. And on knight e5, d e5, you're right, that's equal. Okay, we might want to go a little deeper there, but okay. I don't think bishop d7 is a horrendous move. I don't think that's a horrendous move. And I still think you've got the jump here because a move like queen f3. Pop. No, that wasn't good. Yeah, that wasn't good. All right, let's go down here. We can see this. So, a couple problems with queen d7. Black's main issue here is that their king is weaker than your king, and you have the small jump in development. So, if you play a move like queen f3, I don't know what black's going to do, and black still owes you some good tempi before they are set free from their trials and tribulations. You will probably gain another tempo, for example, on one of these rooks to d1 hitting the queen. So you still have that jump. When you take, however, the black king wants to be now the queens are up, wants to be in the king, in the middle of the board. And where should it go here? Definitely e6. Definitely e6. That's a nice square. The king is going to be a bully in the end game. Now the king wants to be in the middle, but that's a chump move. Let's see if you recognize why it's a chump move. And here I valued my position was better with the developed rook, control the d file, my king safe to the side, and I was only down a single pawn. But SF says I was completely wrong. I hadn't calculated many other candidate moves as this line was relatively forcing, as I thought I was better. Okay, so here's the thing. First, I like in your annotations that you're recognizing what you thought in the game and maybe even after, and then only later check the engine. But we got to say a couple things. King e7 is a total chump move, and this is what I wanted you to say. Instead of saying anything about calculating, you need to say, oh my gosh, this bishop's now a chump. Why did black do it? No one knows. Black could have played here in addition to king e6, right? So it makes no sense to play king e7. Further, this is a good teaching moment because what you can learn from this is once the queens come off, the king wants to be in the center of the board, okay? And now the pawn is kind of significant. You know, the pawn's a real thing. All right, f3, knight f6, knight c3, king e6. Okay, good. Probably a good move. Knight v5, and now knight d5 is a mistake. Right here, I believe, is the most important critical part of the game. Okay, fine. Having traded off the queen so early, the threat of the fork on c7, my opponent's weak king, and the significant amount of counterplay he has, I believe the game was decided on his turn. Okay, so knight d5, definitely a mistake. And the critique I want to make is you need to write what was black's best move, okay? The move that pops to mind for me immediately is bishop d6. And black should be better. because even if you get your pawn back, let's say you take on a7 or something, and let's just pretend that black can't mess with you if you win the pawn on a7. His king is better. Their king is better. So knight d5, and now rook takes d5. And I want to say this is a little bit, I'd say mildly misleading with the computer. So the computer is saying pop, 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 and it's saying white's only a little bit better. Yeah, I want to stress that it doesn't make much sense to me. It looks to me like white is significantly better. Maybe they have some special move, but to me it looks like I'm winning another pawn and I'll be up a pawn at the minimum, right? So that's why the computer can be a little bit misleading here. Now I'm gonna just go ahead and say that I'm gonna guess what happened was you missed both in the first analysis and during the game you missed rook takes d5. So you should say that. And the other thing is, this is for whether you're GM, whatever level, it's really good to try to find the tactics without the computer. That's how you're gonna find it, right? And yes, at the very end, we might look at the computer shows us something like rook d5, but the struggle to find that, this move, rook d5, is very helpful for us. Okay, bishop f2, bishop e7, we can still play rook takes d5. Your move is even better, Baus. Your move is even better. Okay, so what do they need to do? They need to play a6, c6, bishop d6, one of these moves. Actually, bishop d6 might run into its own special grief after c4, and then we can play c5. Yeah, okay. Yeah, so it has to be, black has to use the time to do one of those moves. Okay, so bishop e7, pop. Now I think they're in big trouble because that pawn takes knight's coming with check. Check to the miserable king. And now dude's toasted. Good move, bad move. Rook a d1, okay. So this is a poor move, bishop c5. Now you are winning no matter what, but rook a d1 is better. And the reason is after bishop c5, black could have played king c6, forking your pieces, so you're not going to win the full business. Right? Thank you very much. That's going to hurt. Check to the miserable king. There you go, Baus. Checkmate. Checkmate. Okay. Good job, dude. Good job. There it is. That was beautiful. There it is, wood JRX. And one of the things I just want to say, I have now, as a game reviewer, become addicted to the Lichess thing showing the moves. So this was played on chess.com. I don't know. I'm hoping. I think there was going to be a way as a tech solution for us to see the times. Because my suspicion, okay, my strong suspicion is that these moves were played quicker than they probably should have been, right? By both players. That's just my guess. Okay. So, beautiful. Now, I'm going to show you guys something. I did a Dojo 2.0 video. Pop. There it is. Go watch the thing after this Twitch stream. Not now. Not now, my friends. You got to wait a little bit. You got to wait. After this is over. You know, and I just realized I want to make this little screen grab a little bit better. Oh, man, please don't be mean to me. There we go. Great. And let's make this a little bit this way. There you go, buddy. There you go. Okay. Genius. Let's do pepper chess. Actually, I'm going to get a drink of water real quick, and then we're going to do pepper chess, so I'll be right back.
Welcome to Dojo. Check out Joe, he's a Reddit bro, likes to edit posts, and he starts to gloat when he gets the most of votes or likes. Yeah, he's really
really hype, really psyched, cause the cup is really tight and the work is really light. His training plan is the first thing your eyes see, 'cause he's got more follows than my boy Aragaisi. Opinions on Magnus, Hans, and Karyakin. Who cheated who, which engine did he hacking? He got blocked by Short, ignored by Dvorak, but he can't be wrong. He scored a light from Truong. He's got lightning attacks on GM, blunders and gaffes. True not over the board, it's only the other chat. Still his 7-year plan ensures the last laugh. Distractions detract from any actual actions. Excuses are useless, he rules his inaction. Awaits satisfaction, the status of Magnus. He bought 50 books and opened up 10. Fools ought to read Psalms, not my system. He's got 30 alt accounts on every site around. Chessable courses keep looking cheaper by the pound. He got 22 databases and 36 engines, 25 chess sets, and a massive pot collection. He bought merch from Gotham, Bra and Naka, but his game history looked like some chess copy pasta. A GM coach that he don't listen to, and if you think it is, then yes, my friend, yes, this is you. But that all changed one bright sunny day when a friend said, hey, don't you know? Welcome to the dojo. It's good to grow. Welcome to the dojo. I gave up on the easy. Sweatwork's what we need. Sweatwork's what I believe. Waves what I'll receive. Don't you know? Welcome to the dojo. It's good to grow. Welcome to the dojo. I stepped away from easy. Sweatwork's what we need. Sweatwork's what I believe. Ratings what I'll receive. So Joe got into the business, stopped the absentness, daily practices rhythm, he even upped his fitness. He found sparring cathartic, postmortems charming. With the plus equal minus, he was armed for Elo farming. With notepad and pen, he built up.
All right, my friends, here we are back. We're going to check out Pepper Chess now. Pepper Chess is often in the Twitch chat, perhaps also now, and working on the game. Working on the game, my friends. Let's go take a look at this business, and Pepper Chess is roughly, I'll say it again, we have much more people this week because we have a bunch of people who are just now realizing that they graduated. There's Pepper Chess. Let's click, and we'll go immediately to activity just because I want to check how many times Pepper Chess has graduated. There you see it. Pepper Chess UK, I'm following them on Twitter. You can see that they have graduated several times, and already at the 700, 800 cohort. Well, this is a little tricky because Pepper Chess has moved up to 800, 900, but it doesn't show that yet. In any case, this is the cohort that interests us because what we're looking at is what they did to achieve their graduation. And here you can see the breakdown with mostly tactics, some games analysis, some endgame. And let's just click through this here a little bit. Tactics, boom. Oh, that's a beautiful graph, dude. Whew. Man, that's just work. It's just work, my friend. Let's say I even click on the mates in 2. So just a couple. Mates in 1. Just a couple. Fine. That's great, dude. Great. Basically, in the new system, you get 10 points for doing one of the books in the program. I'm doing it myself. Fantastic. So back to cohort. Let's click on endgame real quick. The algorithm. Great. And then middle game strategy. The algorithm. Great. Games and analysis. Some annotated games. So, I know Pepper Chess in the past has done annotations. Let's look, and there it is. I've looked at some of these games. I'm pretty certain I looked at non-dojo user and highlighted that game for one of the dojo cohort games. Okay. And fantastically, Pepper Chess is here. Mates in 2 are done. Nice. Well, wait a second. So wait, there might be some confusing. So if I look, so dude is already 800, 900 same, but yeah, it's not showing up here yet. In any case, that's okay. Let's take a look. We'll go look at the scoreboard real quick after too. So let's go third one down, non-dojo person. Okay, here we go. By the way, we did a cohort game, And Pepper Chess played some GM level moves, dog. GM level moves. And, you know, when I see GM level moves at the under 1,000 cohorts, you know, it's like, oh, buddy, here we go. So my suspicion is that Pepper Chess is not long for the under 1,000 world. Okay, so let's talk about this here. If you are a Sicilian player, this is the most common setup you will get in the, let's say, the under 1,400 world. It's a mild inaccuracy because the bishop doesn't actually have any scope on this diagonal and might later get popped with d5. However, for the under 1,000 cohorts, that's fine. d6, knight f6 is a little bit better for black. But we're doing fine here. And the amazing thing is basically what have we done? We have transposed to Fischer playing against the Sicilian. Great, great, dude. And so one of the cool things about not knowing theory is if you just play principled moves, you are going to play super GM level chess. It's an amazing thing. It's an amazing thing, my friend. So knight takes d4 is a mild inaccuracy, and it's helpful to understand why. In general, we say we don't want the queen to be developed early, and that's a great rule to live by. But the issue is that as the game goes on, if the queen can hang out in the center and not be molested, well then, the queen's very powerful, obviously, in the center of the board. And the issue here with knight d4 is it's not immediately clear how we're going to get rid or use the fact that the queen is in the middle of the board. So in fact, here the queen's pretty nice. In bishop f6, let's read what Pepper Chess writes. Attacking my queen, I look at moving the queen, but also look at check with a light square bishop. Okay, very good. Oh, nice, dude. Very good logic. Yeah. This pawn being an issue. Now, I have sympathy for black. I'm not actually 100% sure bishop f6 is technically a mistake. They're going to be worse no matter what, right? After knight f6, rook d1 is just going to be a real question. You could also play bishop g5 and rook a d1. You've got a beautiful jump in development, and they're going to have to worry about the d6 pawn. Okay, so bishop f6, bishop b5, and now Pepper Chess says king e7 is a mistake. I just want to say for my business, I think I would want to play king e7 myself. Okay. Bishop d7 takes the pawn. This is actually an interesting variation. So, by the way, one technical improvement that we're hoping for is when let's say I or somebody else is using this game viewer, that I can make variations, but do it in a way that's not going to like change Pepper Chess's own annotations, right? Just so that I can do it myself, kind of see how the game might progress. In any case, what I was thinking of is, in this variation, if black took, they'd be threatening this bishop, right? So if we took on c3, we would have to take, we'd get a trade out, and then we get this position, and maybe that's tenable for black. Maybe. Interesting question. I think it's definitely a thought. I don't like this, though, because we could then play knight b5, and then we're doing great. Then we're doing great. So bishop b5, king e7, queen d3, and then this is a horrendo move, bishop c3, because, by the way, we're getting like some kind of transcription problem with the $sign. I sometimes get the weird $sign when I do from ChessBase to some other format, you know. I have that issue myself. Pepper just says, don't expect GM news from all games. No, you're doing great, man. Bishop b5, let me just say, awareness to play bishop b5, thinking about the d6 pawn. Whatever we say about the objective evaluation, just that idea is next level chess. It's that simple, right? That's next level. So, for example, when we're looking at the other games from this cohort, where they're blitzing their moves, they're not even going to think about bishop b5. Bishop b5 is somebody who's like, all right, I'm really drilling down. I'm thinking some system two's going on, you know? Okay. Now, the reason I would say king e7 is maybe playable for black, or at least as a thought, is that here we could play a6 with a tempo. The bishop has to move somewhere. We smack it again. We play bishop b7, and we claim, perhaps wrongly, that this bishop is going to save our soul. I don't know if it's actually going to save black soul, but that would be the intention, right? Okay, so queen d3, then they snip, that's no good. And that's a very clever move that deserves some comment. The natural way would be queen c3, after which I'm convinced you're better. But the genius level of pawn takes is now all of a sudden, we're going to talk to him. Yeah, we're really going to talk to him. And I think now is the moment to talk to him. So I'm opposed to this move, f3. All right, first non-GM level move. So, let me put it this way. There's a famous saying, I think Sarah Wan came up with this like 1,000 years ago, that there's a thing called a master move. Now, the master move is either a move that either a total chump played it or some GM. So this would be an example of it. It's in fact a genius level move because your unopposed dark square bishop is now an animal. And this animal really wants to look at that king. Really, really wants to look at it. But f3 suggests, Pepper, that you didn't see it or didn't understand why it was a genius move when you played it, which means it was a chump move. Right? But so f3, the problem with f3 is a couple things. Not only are you losing time, but it suggests you don't see how this is really going to end their world. Right? That's just, it's all over. Right? You got bishop a3, e5's coming, rook a1, the whole thing. Loss of time. Why did they do it? They were terrified of bishop g5, not understanding that bishop a3 is the real problem, which you then pop. Now we got him, baby. Pop! Oh, nice. Welcome to the dojo. Yeah, very nice. That ain't it, bows. Oh, that's simple and strong. Check to the miserable. Okay. Pop. Don't take it, boss. Do they take it? Ooh, the self-pin of doom. that wasn't it, boss. Right, that piece is going nowhere. And one interesting thing about this is that the knight is on a dark square, so, and this bishop is on a light square, so there's no way for black to bring another minor piece to talk to the knight. The poor knight. All right, I'm going to assume you have multiple ways to win here. Personally, I like the brutalistic tripling. But the nice thing about your move, rook fe1, is that, don't take, whatever you do, don't take a pin piece, is that you're just saying, hey, this dude can't actually move. There is no way to move the black pieces. I think it's true. a5. That one gives me the heebie-jeebies. What are we doing? What are we doing? Okay. This would be a moment, by the way, to drill down a little bit and try to find a clean way to finish this dude off. Okay? So let's talk about the situation. Black is hoping with pawn d4 to break the pin. Makes sense, right? Bishop d5, the bishop, this guy's not doing much. We don't need to mess with that guy. So here we need a cleaner way to break into the black position, right? And we got some good options. Let's begin with Snippo to the Pippo. Snippo to the Pippo, Rippo to the Crippo, and then Queen G6. Oh, buddy! Welcome to the dojo. That's it. There's no defense against that, my friend. Queen G7, Rook E6, Pin of Doom on D6. It's all over. It's all over. So, this is a great instructive moment because you should feel that the game is over now, right? You should just feel that intuitively. And Rook FE1 was fine. Like I said, I like Rook D2 a little better. And if you missed that wild Bishop takes E6, then we want to look for something better. I'm just now realizing that the reason you did it was you were terrified of this. I think forget about that bishop. This dude needs to block off the monster. The monster mash needs to get stopped. And so one thing I want to stress is, let's say you didn't see that bishop takes E6 idea. We're in no hurry to play bishop D5 then, if A4 is our concern, right? We can do bishop D5 next. Yeah. Okay. So, key rule of thumb, when you play like a GM like this, and you've really played good chess, your opponent's played bad chess, the game is looking to be crispy critter here, that's when we want to look for a way to punish our opponent. Okay, let's go on. Bishop D5, snip snap, B4, good move, pop, pop, poop. It's a little bit sad to be leaving that diagonal, but I understand. I don't understand that. We'll play bishop takes b4, pin of doom reestablished. Thank you very much. That ain't it. So now, dude's just waffling about a little bit. I think that's a good move. That's a good move. And that wasn't it. So we needed a variation here with rook d6, rook b7, right? Check to the miserable king. Okay. Now, I would have preferred not to be giving away the pawn, you know? So if we play a move like a3, we can't lose the pawn. Good move. We're finishing the game off. Queen a4, cheap trick. Rook d4, ooh, nice. Check to the queen. That ain't it. Ah, simple chess. This is what I like. Thank you very much. Oh, there we go. There we go. Now, I just want to say, Pepper Chess, you're killing him here, man. You're totally crushing this chess improvement. Yeah. No, I mean, let's just think about this for a second. You're playing GM level moves. You're concentrating on what's correct in the opening. You're not like master's database, this or that. Thinking about writing out what you see is happening with the development, right? Beautiful. And so, for example, let's say you got it into your head you wanted to learn theory and you wouldn't play this move. That's not going to help you that much. You're going to get some opponent who's going to play d6, and then you just play good natural moves, and all of a sudden you're playing Fischer-Spassky 1972 bows. It's that easy, my friend. It really is stunning how easy it is to play GM level moves. Other phases of the game, not so easy. Not so easy, my friend, to find GM level moves. Super GM level moves. Bishop b5, I want to give, again, regardless of whatever we think the objective evaluation is, bishop b5 is deep because you have an idea on bishop d7. Okay? Yeah. And then you were a little slow in this part to realize how powerful your bishop a3 was, right? But otherwise, this is just great, dude. Yeah. And right, Pepper Chess is graduating all the time, boss. Now let me just see, can I click back on Pepper Chess? I can, look at that, dude. Dude, Jack, you're a genius. Okay, so then we go activity, look. And Jack is actually graduated 800 to 900. Something is not updating here yet, but that is what we got. Pepper Chess is graduating all the time. ChessDojoLive, all the time. Okay, so just make sure no one's screaming at me on Discord. Hello Kostya is yelling at me. Now, hello Kostya, I gotta say, I'm not showing a Lee chess board. This is no Lee chess board, Baus. This is a chess dojo board. This is a chess dojo board. This isn't a Lee chess board, you chump. Don't you know your website, you chump? Look, Kostya, buddy, this is not a Lee chess board. This not is Lee chess board. This is a Jack Stenglein special. Right here, my friend. Okay. Okay, buddy. Kostya, man, doesn't even know the site. Eat some avocado toast, my friend. Oh, leave him alone. Pepper Chess, you're doing great, boss. You're doing great. So, let me go back, and we're gonna look at Tuliki. Tuliki here. Oh, boss, wait, just start here, buddy. Just start here. We'll go here, past week, and then Tuliki is toward the beginning of this. English, Spanish. We're gonna click through some of these. The dreaded Mitch, and then I think Tuliki is after the dreaded Mitch. There it is, Tuliki. And Tuliki also, maybe, no, just, there it is. Okay, so let's click on Tuliki. It's been a couple of, okay, let me just read this comment. It's been a couple of months. I've graduated a couple of times now. Oops. So it was actually this comment that triggered my understanding of what is going on with why we have so many graduates and why I'm going to do 3 graduate shows this week. Because what's happening is people were casually using the scoreboard, a large number of people, and then they were looking, when they started realizing how beautiful the site was and they were trying to enter their data, they're like, oh, Baus, oh, Baus, I gotta graduate. And then Kraai's gonna have to do 1,000 graduate shows. So to me, even though it's a little bit of a hassle for me to do this, it's really great news because it shows what I personally experienced with the scoreboard. Namely, it's now a much more enjoyable, interactive thing than it was in the first iteration, right? On the Google Docs. The Google Doc thing was a genius first stab, but this is just like so much better. Let's dive in, look at Tuliki. And that'll be our last person for today's show. So, activity. First, we're just gonna note here that Tuliki, wait. wait. I have a feeling Tuliki shouldn't be, I don't know what's going on, man. What's going on? So it's a little bit confusing to me. Wait, it's more than confusing. Let's go back. Tuliki is apparently not just 900,000, but is all the way up on 1,200. Now that's confusing me to no end. Because like when we look at this, we have graduated from 800, 900. So I don't know. Let's go actually look. Let's go look at 1,100, 1,200 scoreboard. We haven't looked at too many of these scoreboards yet anyway. Pop. And we'll go dojo score. Let's just look for our friend Tuliki. Where donde está Tuliki? I'm not sure Tuliki is here, dude. Oh man, this is confusing. So let's go back. Tuliki. And dude has all these, wait, so if I go here, dude has scores in the 1,100, 1,200. No puedo entender. You know what they say. All right. Okay. So. Oh, they're yelling at me at Discord. We're gonna talk about the chess.com thing. Actually, we're gonna have a little meeting in a second. So let's just look then if Tuliki's got some games, no games. A little bit so this was a little confusing. I'm happy to say that in terms of today's show, this was the only time that I felt confused as to exactly what was going on. let's take a look then just at this basic graduation here. Tuliki, what did you do to get from 800 to, from 800 to 900? Oh, this is a beautiful score breakdown, dude. Look at this. Delicious. So let's just click on some stuff. Games and analysis. Games played, annotated postmortems. Great. And then we'll click on endgame, algorithm. Great. Tactics. I click. Beautiful, dude. Beautiful. So if I just want to say as I conclude this show, I'm certain that there could have been a couple problems in today's show. Maybe I got some graduates wrong. Maybe I should have included some people. There might have been some people who had games in the last database that I didn't see reflected in this one. I'm going to try my best over the next couple shows to get that as right as possible. In the future, hopefully by next week, it'll be much clearer about who has graduated, who is importing old graduations, which is fine to do. It's fine, of course, we want you to bring in your old graduations, and just for me to understand like which ones actually happened this week, because that's the one I want to do for the show. Beautiful. And notice that in previous, this is a great actually demonstration of how much easier the website is to use. In previous shows, what I would do is toggle back and forth in between scenes, between one scene using the scoreboard and one scene using the game analysis viewer. Here, it's just all one place, right? All in one place. And I can pop into the calendar, I can do the game viewer, I can do the scoreboard, I can do the profiles. It's all there in one place. I don't even need to change anything. And obviously that's a selfish thing on my part that makes the streaming easier, but the more important thing is that's the case also for the viewers. You don't have to have all these different things. And the problem with any website, right, is there's a little bit of a learning curve in how do you learn how to do the specific things on a website, right? And this is so cool because Boomer GM, I had no problem in learning how to navigate this. Whereas for me, like you're learning the Google Doc, I'm still learning that, boss. The Discord, I'm still struggling with that, right? And so I know from personal experience that this is just, going to be so much easier. And as I said in the vid that we just published, the thing I'm so happy about is that really we had a period of a year where the early adopters gave us feedback and helped us understand what to do in the site, both in a tech way and in terms of the program. We dialed it in. Jack helped us with the scoreboard. Me, David, and Kostya figured out the recs. We dialed it in. All the feedback is happening, right? And for a whole year, it was like every day we made some small improvement, right? And usually, I think for the average user, it wasn't clear what that small improvement was. It wasn't immediately visible, right? But those small improvements, right, over time, are like, oh yeah, this site is just looking better and better. And so I'm assuming at some point we'll have Dojo 3.0 in a year, right? But I think it's going to look a lot more like this, right? That the site is matured to an extent that will improve many aspects of the site and will improve the requirements and what we want people to do. But it's going to be more of a process of dialing it in and making it just a little bit more user-friendly, right, than this extreme improvement that we had just to get here, Okay, really happy about that. My friends, my intention here is to come back tomorrow, and I'm going to do about 10 of the graduates then above 1,000. Today was under 1,000. Tomorrow we're going over 1,000. And I think I'm going to raid somebody because I don't think we're going to be streaming right now. Let's raid friend of the dojo. I am Rosen. All right. Whew. If you haven't checked out my latest vid, check that out. That's on our YouTube channel. And check out the training program, dude. Or at least go check out the site. Bye.